I was a real young boy, I had only known inescapable suffering. I was convinced there was no way to escape suffering and agony and torture and trauma. I was convinced that there was no such thing as freedom for somebody like me. And so when somebody came into the room that offered me that, I was all in. But it's not to just say that offering came lightly. Like it's almost like a play that they'll set up. You go through a lot of this trauma, and then they start telling you to call out to Jesus. Like, call out to Jesus. He'll save you. Like, while you're being abused, while people are defiling you, call out to him. Demons aren't scared of his name. You know what I mean? They're scared of his authority. They're scared of who he is, not the name. They're telling me to call out to him, call out to Jesus. And I called out to Jesus, and a man physically dressed like the character of Jesus walked into the room and abused people, children in the room. It shatters your hope of who he is. It ruins your identity because you begin to correlate. That's Jesus doing that and not seeing who he is anymore at all. And then they literally took this man and beat him bloody after we called out to the name of death. I don't use his name. We called out to this other mighty one, and he came into the room and beat him up and put him on a crucifix and physically murdered him and used us to do it. Use us to execute justice on him, that he's a monster, and we killed him with him. All we had to do was ask for his power, and he would give us power over our enemies. That was the promise. That was the offering. That was the invitation to us. And it completely bound me into this bloodline of lust for death, of lust for violence, of hatred, of vengeance, of retribution. I wanted justice, and justice was embodied in front of me. And it was not the man who gave up his life, but it was this being, this mighty one. That is how I was brought into this bloodline. As much as what was in my body, as much as what my family believed they had claim to, that is when the bloodline relationship for me became tangible, visceral, and operating in reality. These people that are carriers of this are initiating a agenda to alter mankind into their image. They are trying to transmogrify creation into another thing, humanity 2.0. And they are using technology, and they're using the spiritual realm to begin to manifest that reality on this earth. And they're doing it through the infestation of all the religions. The great harlot of Babylon is building up all the religions of the earth to lead mankind in a war against the way of truth.
How old were you?
6 years old.
6 years old. Okay. Real quick before we move on, I just want, for people who are like listening to this, and this might be the first time they're hearing these things, this is extremely like archetypical. So they are copying an archetype, twisting it, and presenting a counterfeit for you and for people like you. So it's interesting when you look at like how we're grafted in through salvation. And then you're saying that part of the bloodline is a grafting in through ritual. And so everything you find in scripture, everything you find through the gospel and the way that Yahweh and Yeshua works, they're taking it, trying to clone it and twist it. And it sounds like the number one way that they're doing that is through presenting one archetype, sullying it, connecting your association with a different archetype, and trying to get you to turn on the main way and pursue a counterfeit archetype. Correct?
Absolutely.
And if you study like old history, the believing that you have the right to rule becomes the means to rule.